Speaks. It's Jared and Bob flying at you. So before we kick things off for real, I do want to throw it out there that you guys still have time to sign up for the Sarcasm Speaks NFL weekly pick'em pool. It's kind of wordy. I should think of a better way to say that. The Sarcasm Speaks NFL weekly pick'em pool. That's a lot of words. But either way, I'm not a word guy. So sign up. If you're listening, anyone can do it, right? All you have to do, I mean, technically you don't even really need to follow football. So you pick the games each week on Sundays and Monday, no Thursday night games. Pick them up, pick against the spread, right? For these games. So it's not just winner or loser. You're picking against the spread. $6 to join in, right? Every single week. That $6 goes of that $5 goes to the weekly pool. So the winner would get paid out on, Tuesday.
20 if 20 people do it, you get $100.
Yep. If 20 people join in, that's $100. Again, the more people that join in, the more money you can win. So if you're out there and you're listening and you want to join, sure. If you're the guy that's listening in California, because we got a guy that listens out there, let us know. You want to play? Go for it. Hopefully you're not a fucking Chargers fan because it's just consistent letdown, but whatever. Maybe you're a Rams fan. Maybe you just celebrated the Super Bowl, or maybe you don't watch football. Like I said, you don't have to watch football. You can join in, or if you know someone that would want to do it, tell them. What do we care? Like I said, this is all online. The more people that do it, the more money we can win. So reach out to us however you want. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Send us a DM. Or slide in those Twitter DMs, sarcasm_speaks over there. Let us know if you want in. Or, like I said, if you have a friend that would be in, sure, send them our way. So, like I said, I think that covers it. $6 a week, every week, a season-long payout, right? I said that. The dollar of the $6 goes to the season-long. So at the end of the season, it's winner takes all. So, you could be looking at,
Yeah, I mean, if 20
chunk of money,
if 20 guys did it every week and it paid $100 a week, then or 20 guys and girls, that's $360 for the season long winner take all.
Yeah. So, and that number only gets bigger as the more people join in. So, like I said, tell everybody this will come out on Thursday, right? So it still hasn't started. You still got time.
Yeah, you got until kickoff Sunday.
Yeah. So let us know. All right. Well, now we got that shameless plug out of the way. I'm going to give a shout out to Roca News here again, because there's usually my go-to for the news, their daily email. The other day I was reading through their email and I thought it was really funny. Their subject line was "America runs on flunking," which good on you. That's clever. So the reason of that subject line is one of their articles that they talk about is U.S. test results indicate that fourth graders reading and math scores have fallen to their lowest levels since the 1990s. Educators see ages 9 and 10 as crucial years in child development. 2011 study showed that third graders who lack proficiency in reading are 4 times more likely to drop out of school. For the first time since the survey test began in 1970, math scores fell, while reading scores also dropped by the largest amount in 30 years. The bottom 10th percentile experienced the biggest change. So what do you know? As in most things, the gap has just widened. So it's not like, so potentially it's not like all scores across the board got lower. It's that the lowest scores got even lower. So if if say you grade their scores out of 100, right? If the average low group was 50, they're probably like a 30 now or something like that.
Hold on, run that by me again. The
bottom 10th percentile experienced the biggest change. So
are numbers down across the board?
Yes.
Okay, so down across the board, but the greatest discrepancy
was the bottom 10%.
Okay.
Yeah. So the bottom 10% was already awful, right? You're the bottom 10%. Well, it got even fucking worse. So like if the average drop, I don't know these numbers off the top of my head, I'm making them up, but if the average drop across the board was like 8%, then I would imagine the bottom 10th percentile, experienced a 12% decrease. Like they're the ones that had the biggest drop.
Okay.
Educators warn that beyond test scores, schools have experienced higher rates of absenteeism, cyberbullying, misbehavior, and violence since lockdown ended. So, a lot of
I like that, because I was going to say, and what do we think caused all that?
Yeah. Yep. So it's the results, the first since COVID-19, may indicate the pandemic's effect on young learners.
No shit.
So here we are.
Who's getting the Nobel Prize for that fucking finding?
Yeah. It ain't me, that's for sure.
Well, we came up with that.
We said that during everything.
As two fucking dumb fucks over here.
Yeah. So the actual article was from the Wall Street Journal. I feel like they're pretty legit. Like they're relatively down the middle.
Yeah, well, give them a Pulitzer or whatever. Give them writing award.
Yeah. So average, I'm just skimming through it really quick. Average scores for reading declined to 215 out of a possible 500. Wow. The average score in reading out of a possible 500 points was 215. That's less than 50%.
It's pretty good. It's a G average.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. 215 out of 500. I don't know. Let's do some quick math here. 215 divided by 500. That's 43. So the average score in reading across the country is a 43% in these, whatever these tests are, math and reading in fourth graders.
I don't think it's going to get any better either.
I don't think it is. I think it's gonna take a lot longer than people think to bounce back from that, right? So imagine, and all ages really are fucked, right? Like there was no age that was like kind of okay, except maybe like sophomores in high school were probably the least affected, right, by the lockdowns, because they came back for their senior year and they also were able to have their freshman year of high school. So like they really just missed sophomore and junior year, which are like whatever. But like
everyone says junior year is the hardest.
Yeah. But like imagine the kids that the last time they were in school was in middle school, and then they just show up in high school.
I think it's the younger grades. It's anyone that, because what we're talking right now is fourth graders. So that means,
well, that's where all like the develop. I mean, that's an obvious one.
It started in second and third,
because that's how the development goes. Like that's how you need to learn how to learn, basically, when you're in elementary school.
I think anyone that was an eighth grader in the spring of 2020 probably is just like socially fucking awkward.
Yeah.
But they all kind of are, honestly. Like these kids are so, like, seriously, I wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud.
Yeah.
They're probably the weirdest socially because they didn't have to really go through a real freshman year.
Right.
I mean, they mostly did. I don't know, but things are just weird now. Like I think it's back to normal now, like process wise, but these kids are not normal.
No, they're not. And I don't know how much of that, I mean, I'm sure it's a combination, right? But I don't know how much of that is because of the pandemic and how much of that is like a generational thing, right? Like these kids, like they don't talk to each other.
The pandemic definitely
exacerbated some problems.
Created some issues because you couldn't go see your friends. You couldn't talk to these people. You couldn't do this. You couldn't go to lunch. You couldn't go here. Couldn't go there. Oh, you got the sniffles, stay home 10 days. And it's like,
right.
This is just fucking retarded.
Yeah.
And then you know, you didn't meet new people. oh, new people, they could be sick. It's like,
Right. Got to stay in your bubble. Stay only in the people in your bubble.
But when you call them cohorts, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean and I was talking to I guess he's not an athlete anymore, his old man crew, but a mutual athlete of ours today. And like talking about the 90s, and he's like, oh, people like nostalgic about the 90s. He's like, what was so great about them? And this was coming because Michaela and I watched the Woodstock documentary.
Oh yeah.
Probably worth you 3 hours. I'm not going to go into it because I don't believe the documentary goes into any more depth than the facts of what happened.
The absolute disaster that was Woodstock 99.
Yeah. And then, I mean, outside of that, it's you have the I guess narcissism is the good word of the organizers. Like they still don't see how they fucked it up, but whatever.
Was that the original Firefest?
It kind of seems that way, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it was organized a little bit better and it actually happened.
True. That's fair. Yeah.
But yeah, they're sitting there like, oh, well, it's not our fault they lit everything on fire. And it's like, it's literally your fault that they lit everything on fire. All they're doing is complaining that it was a fucking money grab. And that's why they started burning everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth it. That documentary was good. But if you already know all the facts of the case, then you're not going to learn anything new. So whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we were talking about the 90s, and I was like, yeah, the 90s were kind of a weird time because it started like culturally, it started with grunge. I guess musically, not culturally. Culturally, it was weird too.
Well, culture is driven a lot by music.
So, but it started with grunge. There was almost no transition, and then it was nu metal. So it was like, we went from Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. Borderline had no transition, and then it was Korn, Limp Bizkit, Slipknot, Nine Inch Nails, like. And then I guess the alternative of the nu metal was like new punk, Blink-182, all them.
Yeah.
So,
and then on the other side, you had the sprouting of what I guess, I hate this term, but I guess it is what it is, kind of, I think what it's called. But in the 80s, you had the sprouting of gangster rap, right? With like NWO and those guys. Or NWA. NWA. Yeah.
I'll say
NWO.
Hulk Hogan wasn't fucking recording records.
Well, I mean, he was saying all the words that they were saying.
He actually named them.
Yeah. But you had NWA, right? That kind of kicked that off. And then throughout the 90s, then you had, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Jay-Z. Like that's when they Tupac, Biggie, like that's when they cut their teeth, and then they became mega stars in the 2000s, right? But they were really fucking good in the 90s. So yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, I think music does have a lot to do with culture.
And you had the boy bands at the end,
and the boy bands were there.
So you can't ignore that. Like the newest Backstreet Boys. The newest thing that the late 90s did was it added pop as a genre.
Right.
Now there was some pop, you could argue that Rick James was pop.
Yeah. Corey Hart.
Yeah, that was, I mean, those were more rock, but kind of Eddie Money,
yeah,
because they weren't pure rock.
Billy Idol was he was kind of the in-betweener. He's because it has rock elements, but it's pretty poppy.
It's pop, yeah, it's pop rocks.
Yeah.
Drink those with soda and you'll die or whatever.
Yes, please.
But pure pop.
Yeah.
And I know Michael Jackson's the king of pop. Gotcha. But pure bad, just generic.
Yeah.
Pop that it fucking is now.
Yeah.
Late 90s, whatever.
The boy band era.
Yes.
I already said NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, but even Hanson, 98 Degrees.
And that's the thing was
Len. You remember Len?
No. If Michael Jackson's the king of pop And I think like Rick James kind of fits that genre, sort of.
Mhm.
They were actually talented.
Right.
The boy bands were scripted almost.
Yeah.
Like they were just trotted out there. Like someone else wrote the music and they barely performed. It's like when South Park did the finger bang episode and everything was just like done for them. So, and that's like kind of when music got weird because the talent started to leave the artists. Anyway, so that's, so like, anyway, so back to the 90s.
Yeah.
So I was just making the argument that, like my generation or, me in like the next maybe 5 birth years, maybe that's a stretch. We were the last group of kids that really had like some level of independence where, I would take my bike, I would go and it would be, hey, be back by 8:30. Okay. It's like, I'm going to buy you a watch. You can put it in your pocket so you don't have to wear it on your wrist. Okay. Be home by 8:30.
Yep.
Or is like, like even in high school is like, I'm going to pick you up at 11 right here. It's like, oh, you can just call me. He goes, I'll pick you up right here at 11.
Yep.
And now it's not even close to that. Like there's GPS tracking and everyone's phones. The cars are GPS tracked now.
Yeah.
The kids will like text their parents during school and parents will text the kids during school. My mother would never fucking reach out to me during school. Never. She would have been like, you're in school. Don't like, why are you talking to me?
Exactly. Yeah. And
like,
like,
aren't you in school?
We had texting when we were in high school, but we weren't.
No, it wasn't like now. I know.
We were on the tail end of like the iPhone.
Hit 7 3 times.
Yeah. Well, that's the T9 texting. Like I used to do that, like in class, like sometimes in class with the T9 texting, like you knew how many times you had to hit each button.
Yeah.
It was great because you could text,
clicking and clacking.
You could text without looking. It was fucking awesome. But like because we didn't have iPhones, right? The iPhone didn't come out until 2007, but then like it really didn't become like mainstream probably until like 2009 or 10.
Yeah, something like that. I remember I got like my first BlackBerry touchscreen. I want to say that was 2009, like the summer of 2009.
I think my first iPhone was the iPhone 4. No, it was the 3GS. So if it was 07, that would have been 08, 09. Yeah. So I got an iPhone in like 2010. So I was graduating high school and going to college in 2010.
And actually,
by the time I got an iPhone,
I would have still had the Razr or some other phone, but one of our buddies bought a phone. It was buy one, get one. So we split the cost of the full priced phone and got the two. So
yeah,
that's why I had that BlackBerry when I did.
Yeah.
But like we still got some level of that didn't involve this control. So now it's like literally some of the mothers will text the kids during the school day. I'm like, this is insane.
That's fucking nuts.
Like you're in school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's like almost like shame on the parents too. It's like, why do you need an answer right now?
Yeah.
Get an answer at 2:15.
Yeah. Just wait till the end of the day.
I don't know on that one. So yeah, like I feel like I'd say probably the kids born in 95 would have been 12 when the iPhone came out. So by the time they're 14, it's like kind of phones were like pretty much popular. So I think, yeah, I'd say like early to 93 is probably the perfect year where it was like the last of the real, somewhat independent kids. And I mean, we're not like tough or anything. It's just, we did learn how to do some shit on our own. And that can be communicating, making plans, seeing people. Like
like when you wanted to call your friend's house, you had to call their house, and like their parents would pick up and you'd be like, hey, is Bobby home? Can I talk to him? And then they'd give the phone to you and they'd be like, hey man, we're going to the park in like 20 minutes. I'll see you there. All right, cool, man. And then you'd hang up.
Yeah,
And then
imagine
you would see each other at the park.
imagine putting together like 20 kids to play street hockey without phones.
Yeah, we used to just go knock on everyone's door because in my neighborhood, we all kind of lived in the same area, like a quick bike ride away from each other. So we would literally be like, oh, we're trying to get a street hockey tournament. We're trying to play like a big game of basketball. Like, oh, let's go to Jimmy's house. Oh, so we go knock on Jimmy's door. We're like, oh, let's go to Larry's house. Let's try Larry. Oh, where's Dave? Where's Dave at? Let's go to Dave. Like, and it's like, let's just get everyone. And then we would play like giant games. Like we literally had to like get on our bikes, ride, again, not far, like a couple blocks at most. Because there was a lot of people that lived like within a fucking couple minutes walk from the park. Because I grew up like right around, obviously you know that, but for our listeners, I grew up almost across the street from a park in Medford. So it was literally just, it was my house, the next house, a road, and then it was the park. So it was like I was always there. That's where I spent more time there than I probably did at my house. But that's what we had to do. We had to literally run around door to door and knock on kids' doors and be like you see in fucking movies or like cartoons now, like, hey, can Jimmy come out and play? Like that's literally what we did.
Yeah, or it would just be like if enough people wanted to play, you just go down and start shooting.
Yeah.
And then it's like, are you looking to play? Yeah, man. And
and you just meet new people.
And that's how we would do it. And then when we got older and we were doing more frowned upon activities, we would just show up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's go see if they're there.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah, let's drive by Playstead, see if anyone's there. No? All right. Let's try Barry.
It's more like the train tracks and shit like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was more like high school.
The pond. No, not for me.
Well, no, I mean high school was the let's drive by Playstead. Then let's check Barry. Then let's check Victory. Then you know what I mean? Like we had like the spots, and then let's drive by the cemetery to see if anyone's at wood chips because we were dumbasses and would park our cars right in the fucking street.
Yeah, that was like another one.
That was high school where it was like just drive around from spot to spot to see who was there.
Yeah, and now it's like these kids can't even talk to their own friends.
Yeah,
let alone random people.
I know. It's wild.
So awkward.
I wish it weren't so awkward, bud.
Ugh. All the time.
Yeah. But I mean, so yeah, the 90s were the best time ever. And I think.
No, they were not the best time ever. No way. Well,
yeah, the 80s were probably the best.
I want to think.
I would say like 70.
How old's our accountant?
76 to, I'll go 76 to 86.
Birth
I would
year?
say that. No, like those years.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say someone born right around 60.
Right around 60, probably 60, between 60 and 65.
No, I think you need to put, like 65 to 60, 65 to 68.
Like I think if you entered high school in 1976, that was you hit the lottery.
So that goes further back because that's someone that's only like 4 years younger than my parents.
Yeah, I think, like I said, that 10-year window from 76 to 86 was like the best time.
Yeah, I think you need to get past. I think you needed to get past Vietnam.
Yeah,
like when Vietnam was like the real boiling point. I don't know when that was though. Was it late 70s? Early 70s? I have no clue.
I think it lasted from like 74 to 78, something like that.
Was it that late? I thought it was earlier than that.
I don't know. No, well,
it's not a fact-based show anyway.
No, it's not. Korea was in the 50s.
Yeah, Vietnam was done by 75.
75. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think your years for it's like, so if you had if you turned 18 during those years, that was probably pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that, like I said, I think that 10-year window was the peak of America.
Because I'm trying to think, our accountant, he's, I don't know, 54. So what does that put him at, 68?
Yeah.
Yeah, like in like the way, like, because me and him were talking about it too. He goes, I think he said, he goes, I think my age is bad. I go, yeah, I think it was too. Because he was young enough to not be involved in any real wars.
Right.
But old enough to not be stuck in the overprotective and whatever. Still young enough to learn technology, but not old enough or not young enough to be overwhelmed by it.
Right.
And encompassed by it.
Right.
So yeah, I'd say anyone that's in their like mid 50s right now,
they hit the lottery.
Yeah, they had a pretty good run. And that probably stretches. Honestly, I think even like, so my father would have turned 18 in 76. Okay, yeah, so he fits. He's mid 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're mid 50s to mid 60s right now, you had a pretty good run. Anything older than that, you probably had to deal with the fucking Vietnam bullshit and the gas crisis and some annoying political shit. If you were way before that.
Yeah, if you were way before that, then you would have had to deal with Korea. You would have had to actually deal with JFK.
Well, it also didn't seem like things were super fun. Like, I mean, like things seemed fine in the 50s, but like it just seemed like all everyone did was like have a family with kids. It's like,
yeah.
Like this seems stupid.
Yeah. And then like the 60s went overboard in the opposite direction,
like
because all anyone did was drugs.
Yeah, it's way too hippie-esque.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like the 50s was way too fucking conservative. The 60s were way too fucking liberal. And then they finally hit the sweet spot in the 70s and the 80s. And then it started to tail off in the 90s. And then
yeah,
it kind of started to spiral in the late 2000s.
Yeah, it's really like year 2000 really kind of fucking put a knot in that.
Yeah.
That was a pretty decent 30-year run though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 2000 is what really kicked off like the technological age.
Yeah, Y2K. The computers are going to blow up the world or whatever.
Yeah. But not only just that, it's like that's, even if you want, like when you go back and look at like the history books, like they're going to use the year 2000 as like the definer. It was really not until like 2003 or 2004 when like technology really started to take over. But like, it was right around that time that's when smartphone,
when did Windows XP come out?
Windows XP, I think it was 2002.
Because it was Windows 98. Then it was what, Windows 2000?
Yeah, Windows Millennium. And
was
then
it Windows XP after that?
Windows XP, yeah.
That was good though. Vista sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, Windows XP was the last good operating system.
Well, now they're all the fucking same now.
Yeah, now it's like, here's apps.
Yeah, but you get that because that's the thing is you don't really need the operating system. Actually, it's the minimal operating system, the better, because everything's just done.
Right. Everything's just done on apps.
Yeah, apps and online. So.
Do you want to develop my app? So, yeah, I mean, that's when things change, right? Like that's when, like we started doing, and I mean, I'm sure they had this before, but like we started having like computer class.
But like computer class where everyone had a computer and multiple computer labs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Computer labs were in schools. You know what I mean? It wasn't like because for us in high school, we didn't have computers for everyone. We still had a laptop cart that you had to fucking rent out. Like,
I didn't use laptops.
like if we were in like as I know, shout out to Ambrose, Mr. Ambrose, the English. So I was going to call him sophomore, but I think he does all grades, whatever. But he was my English teacher that I had either sophomore or junior year. Now I can't remember. But when we wanted to do something, like he had to go into like the Medford High fucking intranet and reserve a laptop cart for the day. And then he would like go to the library, pull the laptop cart down to his classroom. And then like for that day, all of his classes could use laptops. There was 2 laptop carts for the entire school. And that was it.
I did not use a laptop once.
That was like the very intro to technology in school. Now, all the kids have fucking iPads, laptops, like whatever, like they all have shit. They all have tablets.
They're texting mom and dad during school.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild.
I will say, I don't know about your middle school, but my middle school, which was only middle, so 3 grades, each grade had 2 sides. We had 6 computer labs.
Yeah.
If I remember that correctly, we either had 3 or 6. I thought each side had one.
I think that checks out.
And I want to say each side had one, so that way there was no like competition as to like who could use what and when. And
yeah,
it was a brand new school in 2001.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the middle school was actually way more technological advanced than the high school.
Yeah, the high school was
the high school
dog
had
shit.
1 computer lab, period.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was that room in the back of the library, right?
Oh, what was in the back of the library? Oh, there was a computer lab back there. Fuck, we had 2. If you went down by the main entrance and down one of the hallways.
Oh. There was a computer lab?
Yeah, I had like the Russian lady or whatever to take PowerPoint.
Oh. Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
I think it was on the way to the Vogue. It actually technically might have
I think it was the Vogue.
Did Murph go to the Vogue? Or did he go to the regular high school?
Steve?
Yeah.
He went to both.
Oh, okay. Then never mind. Because I was saying I thought his locker was down that way.
He got dismissed from the regular high school, and then he went to the Vogue, and then he got asked to leave the Vogue, and then he finished out at the Curtis.
Yeah, that happens.
Where you would drive by good old Curtis Tufts, and the fucking kids would be outside smoking cigarettes on fucking high school kids on a fucking cigarette break. That's the Curtis Tufts. That's the alternative school. And then the kids that would get kicked out of the Curtis Tufts would come to Compass, where I used to work.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's literally we were the end of the line. It was like, all right, well, if you can't hack it here, you're going to fucking DYS.
Yeah, if smoke breaks and pool tables are too hard for you, then
yeah,
welcome.
Yeah. Oh, that was a nice trip down memory lane.
And all because our kids are retarded these days.
Yeah, because they can't do shit. It's funny that you would think like with advanced technology, like we haven't advanced with it.
No, dumber.
Like we've gone the opposite direction.
Well, never mind. It's like, and I'm not going to make this a political stance. I'm going to make this purely a childhood development stance. Back when there used to be male and female, and it was like teaching people the English language, when it would be like, he went here, she went here. Like,
yeah,
just something as simple as that is fucking complicated now.
Yeah. You can't say that. You
No,
don't know that. You don't know
it's
their
like,
pronouns.
No. So it's like, we're making things more difficult. Whereas, like when we learned whatever it was that we learned, was it the optimal way to learn as decided by some higher level education researcher? Maybe not, but we fucking learned it,
Yeah.
if we chose to.
Right.
After that,
But
it's
like,
on us.
I would say I enjoyed the teachers that were more off the cuff and that were more like loose, right?
No, but like, how like they changed math?
Yeah.
Like whenever they changed it, and I
It's
don't know
like
what they changed.
it's called like Common Core math or whatever.
And maybe it went back. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But like, there's some dickhead in a research lab.
Yeah.
Who sat there and their life's work was, we don't teach math the right way. Let's come up with
teach math good.
Yeah, let's come up with a new way.
Let's teach it gooder.
And it's like they changed math.
Yeah.
But most of us learned how to at least do the basics.
Yeah, it's like, for me, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, which could be, but like, for me, math at first, when it started getting complicated, was all memorization, right? Like when you first start to learn like your multiplication tables, like me personally, I didn't learn that like 4 times 3 means you have 4 groups of 3 things, which when you count them all up equals 12.
Well,
I literally just memorized like 4 times 3 is 12.
Well, that's that.
And it's like
that's
8 times 4 is 24. Like I just memorized those numbers.
Medford public school education. I didn't go to public school until the seventh grade. They taught us that.
Yeah. Well, I think they did teach us that, but like, that's not how I learned it. Like, I just learned it by like,
no. So that's the best part is they teach you how to multiply.
Yeah.
So it's like you have 3 groups of 3. Now add it all up.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3 times 3 is 9.
Yeah.
And then it's like, so they teach you that, like the very basics, and they go, here's a giant table, memorize it. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? So one day I can go to New Orleans, and when they're like, you can only order beer in 3s. And I'm sitting there like, 21 beers, please. And they go, absolutely.
Yeah. 26 beers, please. Nope. Can't do it.
Nope. Can't do it. 26 is
make
divisible by
30.
3. Wait, imagine if they put like a periodic table up on the fucking bar. Not a periodic table, a multiplication
table, and they just highlight the ones that you can order. Pick one of these numbers that's highlighted.
Fuck. But yeah, I mean, like they're always trying to like. It's if you think about this philosophically, it is fucking insane.
Yeah.
So people learned education a certain way. And then when they get to a certain point recently, they decided that that way wasn't good enough. We should do it a different way.
Yeah.
Yet the path that got you to where you are was X.
Yep.
And now you're trying to create fucking Z.
Yeah.
Who are these educated people? Because it sounds pretty fucking stupid if you ask me.
Yeah, it is. It sounds like they needed to justify their fucking job.
Yeah, it blows my mind. Like it really, really blows my mind. Because it's like, and again, it's like, if they evaluate, it's like, oh, the math scores aren't good enough. It's like, all right, well, why wouldn't the math scores be good enough? Maybe it's the teachers. Probably not, though, because they're the real heroes. It's like, all right, so maybe
make sure you thank a teacher.
Maybe it's the curriculum. Like maybe like something that we're teaching is too early, too late, or it's not. Maybe we're breezing through it too quick. Like spend more time on multiplication, or introduce addition earlier. Like maybe something like that. No. So the test scores in math aren't good. Math must be bad. The way we do math is wrong.
Yeah.
We need to find a different way to do math. It's like, no. How did you get to this conclusion?
Yeah, the way that people have been doing math literally since math was invented. Yeah, it's not good enough.
It's almost
Like
like
the ancient Egyptians and the fucking Aztecs
yeah,
doing math. Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
a fucking abacus, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, if 2 + 2 = 4, and we suck at math, maybe we should do.
Maybe we should draw lines, like the whole fucking like lattice math thing when they like draw lines and I don't even know what that is,
I don't.
but I've heard of it. I've heard of like the lattice method, and you literally, it's just drawing lines and pulling numbers. And it's like, how about you just do like 21 times 3 and call it a day? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like you do the thing where like you multiply the 3 by the 1 and then you write it down, and then the 3 by the 2 and then you write it down.
Or
And it's
maybe,
like,
or again, maybe this is because I learned this in fucking the Catholic school I went to. 21 times 3. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I do know 21 plus
63.
21 is 42 plus 21 is 63. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe that's why I suck at math, because the way I learned, they taught me the fucking theory behind it, and I didn't learn to memorize, and I just learned. I actually learned how to do the multiplication, but now
Yeah.
you see me, and it's like when I count what. So when I pace off putts, that's how I have to do it. So if I pace off 18, I don't know what 18 times 3 is off the top of my head. So in my head, I go 18 times 2 is 36 plus 18 is 54, 54-foot putt. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, maybe, yeah, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe we should have learned new math, because I can fucking, because you know why? Because I don't have those numbers memorized and I can find them on my own. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if these kids can do it, because I know they can't fucking put weight on a barbell. That's a fucking fact.
But I think it's a more fundamental thing, right? Like the memorization as a technique, like in general, I think is very important. So if you, especially for young kids, right, that's how you develop their memories. Like if it's weird to me that they just like you said, like they just change math, right? And there's no more like memorization. Well, like, all right, well, let's see a study in 15 years that looks at people between the ages of like, how old are we? 30. So this looks at people between the ages of like 20 and 40 and be like, what's their memory compared to someone that's like 40 and 60? So like our age at that time, you know what I mean? Like, is our memories going to be stronger? Like, are we going to have better long-term memory retention? Or I don't know. But like, if you just don't teach kids how to memorize, like that's like, it's like a muscle, right? Like if you don't use it, it's not going to develop.
Yeah. I also think there's an element where not so much responsibility. Well, there's a couple things. Number one is, if we didn't know our multiplication tables and we were doing homework, there was one way to find them out, and it's pull up a multiplication table, which you probably needed a textbook or a separate sheet for.
Yeah.
Now you can just Google whatever you want.
Right.
So there's no desire for them to really remember anything, because they can always find it.
Yeah.
They can always find the answer to what they need.
Like, so maybe I'm just retarded, which could very well be the case. But to this day, like, I, honest to God, do believe that the reason why I have such a good memory with things is because when I was a kid, like, I mean, like 4, 5, 6 years old, like my grandfather used to like play games with me and be like, memorize all of like the state capitals and like memorize all of the state birds and all of like the fucking whatever. So you know what I mean? Like, and we would run through it. Like you said, like we turned it into a game. Like it would be like, oh, how many can you get today? Or, you didn't know the capital of Pennsylvania a couple of days ago. Do you remember it now? And like we would do that. And then there was at one point where I was like 6 years old and I could rattle off all 50 states, all 50 capitals, all 50 state birds, like whatever the fuck else. Cause we had that, remember that big collection, the quarter collection thing?
Oh yeah, I had the quarters.
Well, there was the book that came with it that said like this, oh, the state nickname, I think was one of them or something like that. I don't know.
Song.
Yeah, whatever it was, like they were listed in there. And that's the actual book that like we used. And that's how I memorized everything. But like, again, I was like 5, 6 years old. And now to this day, like I can just remember shit. Like the whole reason I got through like high school and college, like I never had to take notes. I would just sit there and be like, oh, okay, cool. Like fucking yeah, obviously it's an easy one, but JFK was assassinated in 1963. Got it. Cool. It was, Lee Harvey Oswald. All right, awesome. You know what I mean? Like I've since forgotten those things from high school now because it doesn't matter.
I still
Like,
always think he got assassinated in 1969.
Yeah, well, MLK Jr. was 68.
But I can tell you that the first
like
JFK quarter came out in 1964.
Yeah, so there you go.
I can't tell you when he died, but I
Wasn't
can
that
tell you
half
that.
dollar? He was on the half.
Oh,
No,
I'm sorry,
Eisenhower.
It was the sorry, it
was
was a half.
Eisenhower was on the half dollar, I think, too.
So no, Ike was $1. So it was in until I think 1964 was the first silver. Might have been the first silver. Oh no, I'm sorry. I think it was still silver. I think 65 was no longer silver. JFK half dollar. He's still on it. Before that, it was our latest and great. Oh, I'm sorry. It was our greatest president of all time, Ben Franklin.
Well, yeah.
And yeah, 1964 was the first year. It was still made of silver. I know that. And then I think 65 they went to the compound. Oh no, from 65 until 70 something, they were 40% silver. So 1964 was 90% silver, and then they moved to 40%. And I think 1971 they stopped all silver in the coins. So I had to refresh my memory on that. But I could have told you that the first Kennedy coin was 1964, and Ben Franklin was the one before it. Yeah, Franklin half dollars, invented electricity and freedom.
But like I can still kind of rattle off some dumb shit, like the assassination of Franz Ferdinand was what kicked off World War I. And like I remember like some of like the Russian stuff for some reason, like Tsar Nicholas.
Nothing about Russia. Nothing.
Like, Tsar Nicholas was in charge of Russia during World War I, and then he had the whole thing with like Rasputin, and then there was like the Bolshevik Revolution through there. You know what I mean? Like, why do I still know that? I don't know, but there's like random things that I can remember.
Maybe this is why you entered AP classes and I just know useless fucking sports trivia. Because it seems like the only shit I remember is sports facts.
I don't know. It's like what you care about. Right? I can remember. I don't care about the Russian history, but for some reason I do know about the Bolshevik Revolution and Lenin who took over and all that shit. I don't know why I remember that, but I do.
I can remember some of my bets through the years.
I guess everyone has their own fucking forms of
like autism. How in 2010 I rode the fucking Oregon Ducks every night. We'd be at Cott's house. We'd be at Cott's house. Like party whatever, and I'd be fucking checking scores.
Yeah.
I remember they beat the Vols. That was a big game. If we're talking gambling though, Nico's is.
Oh yeah.
He remembers every detail of every game.
Yeah. He'll rattle off some obscure fucking.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, they were 4.5 point favorites and they blew it on a last second field goal. You know, like in a game in like 2003 between like the Colts and the fucking Chargers. You know what I mean? Like it was like a meaningless game.
No, he would tell you that like Muhsin Muhammad caught for like 160 when the Panthers were playing whoever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky Prohl, like.
Yeah. Michael Clayton.
Oh God. 04 draft pick.
Yeah.
Bucks.
Yeah, then went on to play for the Ravens.
Are you sure that wasn't Mark Clayton, who was drafted in 05?
That could be Mark Clayton. Yeah.
See,
Yeah. See, there it is. Which one went to the U? Did
I
either
want to
of them
say
go to?
neither. I think Mark, I believe, played at Oklahoma. I don't know where Michael played. Because so the U, their receiver. So Andre Johnson was drafted in 03. After that, it was only like goofy shit like Roscoe Parrish and Sonoris Moss. They didn't have any like legit receivers, I don't think.
Michael Clayton football. Let's see. Oh, he played at LSU.
Oh, yeah. Yep. National championship team.
Yeah.
03. Matt Mock, quarterback.
There it is. There's more autism.
I think it was Matt Mock.
So, I mean, maybe everyone has their own things that they're retarded about then. I mean, it could be.
I'm retarded about a lot of things, though.
I mean, I am retarded about most things.
It was Matt Mock.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like old, like Miami wide receivers. So like, I don't even know. After Andre Johnson, like
it's no one. It's Kellen Winslow. There was Kellen Winslow and third leg Greg were tight ends. And then after that, it was just fucking lame. Couple speedsters, but
Devin Hester.
Yeah, but he didn't really play receiver. I think by trade he was
played
actually
athlete.
I think he was returner. I think he was a cornerback though by trade because he wore what did he wear? 20 did he wear 23 at Miami or did he just wear
he was listed on their depth chart as a wide receiver.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because when he first came to the league, he was like they put him as a D-back. But all he did was return.
Yeah.
And then I remember there was that random game where he played for the Falcons and scored a couple touchdowns.
That's one of Nikos's favorite players.
I mean, if you're a Bears fan, Devin Hester's up there in recent memory.
Yeah.
Who else are you going to get excited about?
Yeah, there's not much.
No, like even like, okay, so Thomas Jones was running pretty good for them. So they got rid of him so that Cedric Benson could play. And Cedric Benson sucked, got a DUI on a boat, and then went to the Bengals where he was pretty good. And now he's dead. Like,
yeah,
there's very little to get excited about recently from the Chicago Bears. Like even Matt Forte. Like Matt Forte was probably the best player that they've had in I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
Certainly on offense.
That is, yes, offensively. I'm like, that is the most underwhelming fucking.
The most talented offensive player they probably had in recent memory was probably Brandon Marshall.
Which personality of his?
Yeah, I was going to say, but the caveat there is obviously he's got some fucking issues. But he was he was
Alshon Jeffrey, nasty. Allen Robinson, like there were some good receivers through there, but Forte was really good.
Yeah. Jay Cutler.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Smoking Jay.
Yeah, they made the NFC Championship and fucking he got hurt.
Yeah.
Caleb Haney had to play.
Pretty awesome. Well, you know what else is pretty awesome is well, actually, I got a question for you. I know you personally aren't a big fast food guy, right? But no. What do you think are some of the biggest draws to why people like fast food?
You don't have to leave your car.
Yep.
So drive through.
Yep.
Speed, convenience, cost.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cheap, right?
It's supposed to be.
It's relatively cheap because it's you get what you pay for, really, right? Like if you go to a Five Guys, you're paying $13 for a fucking cheeseburger, but you're watching them cook it
Like they
right in
actually
front of
make
you.
it.
Like they take the raw fucking meat and they cook it on the grill. Like they do everything right there in front of you. Somehow. So again, just play the game here. You've been to Five Guys before, right?
Yep.
This is just a rhetorical, like to the audience as well. When you go to Five Guys and you order at the window and you have to go like sit down somewhere or stand somewhere, you're there for a few minutes, right? Because they're cooking it from scratch. Somehow, in the time that you stand in the drive-through at a Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, to the time when you pull up to the window, they hand you the bag full of
you get it
everything in
about as fast as Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, 100%. So it's speed, convenience, and cost, right? Like it's cheap. You go to McDonald's. I don't know what a burger is now these days, but I can tell you it's not $13, right? It's not Five Guys. So in another recent win by California and the amazing Governor Gavin Newsom, he has decided to pass a bill. He signed a bill, passed a law, to create a fast food council that is going to decide wages for fast food workers that have been said they could go as high as $22 an hour. So California is about to pass a law that would shift fast food workers to making a minimum of $22 an hour. To which I say, I hope you're ready for $13 cheeseburgers, because where do you think that cost is going to go to? And this is this is everything. This is the culmination of everything that we've been talking about for the last 3 fucking years, right? Like there's people got the sniffles, shut down the entire world. Black people want to be treated equally. We'll take Aunt Jemima off the bottle. Got it. Like we want transgender people to have equal rights. All right. Well, you can't assume people's pronouns or you're a bigot. Like it's all of this, right? It's, well, fast food workers can't afford to pay their bills. All right. So let's just pay them more. All right. Well, who goes to buy fast food? Typically, right? It's probably people that make less money, right? Like I would imagine the average income of someone that purchases fast food regularly, I would say at least twice a week, is probably a lot fucking closer to 30,000 than it is 130,000. So now you have these people that are going to be getting charged way more. Like let's just say what's a Big Mac costs $7, right? And the workers at McDonald's make $15 an hour. Well, now if they make $22 an hour, that's $7 an hour per X amount of employees that work there. That $7 cheeseburger just became $12 in order for McDonald's to maintain their same profit margins, because they're not going to take a hit. Are you fucking serious? These mega corporations aren't going to take a profit loss because they're told they have to pay their employees more. Okay, we're going to pay our employees more. All right, well, cost of doing business just went up. So now your $7 Whopper or whatever the fuck, Big Mac, whatever they do, is $12. So now you're fucking the little guy again by thinking that you're doing a favor, right? Oh, we're doing them a favor. We'll pay them more. Well, the patrons that go there can't afford more, you stupid fucks. I hate California so much.
Yeah, that place sucks. It's almost like it almost has me questioning if Pebble Beach is that worth it. Because at this point, it's the only reason I'd go.
Yeah, I just want them to succeed.
San Diego doesn't seem fun anymore because it belongs in that state. I'm sure. Listen, I understand San Diego's fine, but because it belongs in that state,
yeah,
it doesn't seem cool anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because from what I hear, obviously when I was in San Diego, it was a few years ago, so things were a little bit different. But from what I hear about people like talking on podcasts and stuff, is that the people in San Diego hate the rest of California.
I'm sure they do.
They hate that they like belong. They're essentially like the people in Eastern Washington that want to become Idaho. It's like the people that live in San Diego are like, this fucking sucks, man. Like,
just
why
go
do we
back to
have do
Mexico?
this? Yeah, yeah. So
yeah, I don't. I'm good with that state. It's retarded.
I hate everything about California.
Are they still trying to ban people from leaving?
I think so. I saw that. That was pretty.
Was that
great.
a real article that they sent us?
Yeah. Did I send that to you?
I don't know. I think it was the four of us.
Yeah.
That Twitter group.
Yeah. And it's they're trying to ban. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick.
Go back to the group of the four. Because it was something about, he wanted to ban leaving California for Texas or Florida.
Yeah, this is from. Oh, I can't get to that website.
Like, I don't know if that's like a real thing because it's so retarded that you can't restrict where people go.
No, that's literally
within the country.
That's literally unconstitutional. Like that is 100% against the Constitution.
But he thinks it's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't find it. I'm scrolling back in this thing. Oh, okay. Here it is. From August 26th. California Governor Gavin Newsom considering legislation barring residents from moving to Texas or Florida. And this is a quote from a staffer on Newsom's staff. We can't allow our people to be taken in by promises of freedom and better economic opportunities. They need to stay here.
That can't be a real article. Where is that from?
It's got to be fake.
Yeah, that can't be a real article.
It's got to be fake.
I didn't realize that was the tagline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fake article.
That's 100% fake. Now that I read it again, like that's for sure fake. That was one of those, like I glanced over it as I was scrolling through Twitter and then just fired it off. But either way, fuck California.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that place.
Yeah. Yeah. $22 minimum, or not $22 minimum wage, $22 fast food minimum wage. So imagine that too. Now you're fucking over the people that work at like a Lowe's or a Home Depot, or I don't know, a Dunkin' Donuts probably does count as fast food, but like, I don't know, pick any other like random, like an Ocean State job lot. Like I know they don't have those in California.
Any retail.
Yeah. A JCPenney, right? You work at JCPenney, your minimum wage is $15. Or you could go work at McDonald's and make $22. Well, obviously you'd want
maybe the fast food companies are behind this. There's a conspiracy theory for you.
Or they'll raise their prices by even more.
Yeah, because that's the thing is when it's like, wow, it's like all the food's like more than double. It's I know I got to pay people $22 an hour. And it's like, yeah, well, that wasn't a proportional increase.
Yeah. If you run like a cost analysis, you're like, your costs by paying people more went up by, 49%, and you raised your prices 73%.
Sure did.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be. I wouldn't put it past them. Anything is possible, right?
If you put your mind to it.
Yeah. It's often like when I read like those news emails that I get, sometimes it's shit like that. And like the fourth graders test scores, it's like, wow, we are fucked. Like just as like a general society, like we are fucked. Like that's it. Like I said, we peaked. We peaked between 1976 and 1986. I didn't even fucking get to enjoy it. but it's just been downhill since then. Luckily in the 90s, it was still close enough to 86, right? It was still within 5-10 years, depending on how far out you want to go. We had a good run in the 90s. And then the further away you get from 1986, the worse it fucking gets. And every year just keeps getting worse and worse. And every day is worse than the day before.
Yep. Hate to see it.
It's the dumbest time to be alive. So fuck that. On that depressing note, you want to wrap this up?
Yes. How about them Knowles? So anyone that listened to the last episode, I was watching the Florida State game while we were recording. I was mostly paying attention, I think. So Florida State plays LSU in the Superdome. Michaela and I strongly considered going, but we just too much shit going on this year. So LSU moves. This is still on air. LSU moves the ball. They're close to the goal line, and I don't know how they kept backing up. Field goal, fine. Florida State runs this double reverse trick play, touchdown, 7-3. I think LSU then had a field goal blocked. I think that's what happened next. It appears as though LSU's All-American wide receiver has already given up on the season. I think he did that about halfway through the second quarter.
Good.
Yeah, don't know about that. I don't know how that's going to play out.
Who was their All-American wide receiver?
Keyshawn Butte. He wears number 7, and fucking the quarterback hit him in the fucking chest with the ball. He didn't even pick his hands up for it.
Pretty sick.
So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So Florida State they eventually get a 2 touchdown lead. I think that's as big as it got. LSU gets the ball, drives the field, they get a touchdown. So now it's a 1-score game. Florida State gets the ball back, 3 and out. On that punt, LSU muffs it. So Florida State gets the ball back. All they got to do is get in the end zone. It's 2 scores. And then LSU needs to get 2 touchdowns in a minute and a half, and they would have to get an onside kick. Like, a lot of shit has to happen. And what does fucking Florida State do? They fumble on the LSU 1-yard line.
Awesome.
So you might be thinking, oh, well, it's like a minute 15, a minute 20 to go 99 yards. Well, that is precisely what LSU did. Using every second. 24-23, line up for the extra point, and they fucking blocked it. They fucking blocked that extra point. It's like 2016 in Miami, the block at Hard Rock, DeMarcus Walker fucking blocked the extra point as time expired. Like, unfucking believable. So it remains to be seen if LSU is any good. It remains to be seen if FSU is any good. I just assume they're not. But
I think both teams are probably not that good.
Nope. Well, neither team is ranked, so goes to show you.
Yeah.
I do like that Florida State has Randy Shannon as their DC. He has not had a bad defense in any of his stops. The transfer portal was very nice to Florida State. So I don't hate who some of these guys are now. I mean, you might only get them for a year or 2, but whatever. I assume Florida State will let us down. They're on a bye this week. So, I mean, they played 2 whole games, so they're on a bye. And then they play a Friday night in Louisville. I'm like, gross.
Yeah.
Really gross.
Yeah.
Like, that's just everything about that is just disgusting. So I assume they'll let me down then, or, if not, they'll save it for another time, whatever. But I'm just thinking that if I actually went to that game, I genuinely don't believe I would have made it out of New Orleans. I really don't think so. Like, I think I'd still be lying in a gutter somewhere. Like, dude, I would have been fucking belligerent.
Yeah.
At that game. I would have been out of my mind. And then
would
to
have
win
been worse than me at the Titans game.
Oh, I would have been so much worse. Oh my God. No, like I would have made you look, oh man, I would have made you look fucking like sober for 30 years. Just like the way that game actually went and the fact that they won their first big game in 6 years, I would have been out of my mind. Like out of my mind.
Yeah.
Like Michaela would
Pretty
have she would have probably had to grab cops just to be like, can you just like lock him up just so he'll fucking stop? And like, I'll give you like $200. Like he just will not stop. He is out of his mind.
Please take him away.
Yeah. Like go somewhere because I can't get him anywhere. So I might go to Orlando next year. They play again in Orlando next year. So
Oh yeah. LSU.
They play LSU. Yeah. So they're playing. It's a 2-year thing. They played, and it's opening weekend again. If it's Labor Day weekend, hopefully it's Labor Day weekend. Maybe, just maybe.
That'd be pretty cool.
Because the only wrinkle with Orlando is the flight situation, because obviously Disney's there, so that's gonna be a fucking little bit of an issue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a pain in the ass, but where's the stadium in Orlando?
I don't know, Camping World, whatever the fuck.
Is that UCF? Is that a UCF stadium?
No, I think it's just its own multi-purpose.
They just have like a massive stadium in Orlando.
I mean, easy on massive. Camping World Stadium.
Because I know UCF is in Orlando.
Where's the Wikipedia on this puppy? Oh, it opened in 1936.
Jesus.
When the fuck did that happen? Dude, I thought this was a new stadium. I did not know that this fucking thing had opened in 1936. It was the Citrus Bowl.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I did not realize that.
Huh.
It only holds 60.
Okay.
So
they had WrestleMania 33 there. Over 75,000 people.
So UCF played there until 2006. And it hosts the Cheez-It Bowl.
Okay.
Which the Cheez-It Bowl used to be the Champ Sports Bowl. That's how I remember it.
Okay. And they're going to host the Orlando XFL team.
Good.
Yeah. They previously hosted the Orlando XFL team, the Orlando Rage, in 2001.
Yeah. So, yeah, they don't have a home anything.
Yeah. Just a random stadium. Huh. All right. Well,
we'll see. That. I mean, it's easy to say that a year from now, but
yeah. Well, go Knowles. So for my final thoughts, I have a question, I suppose. Proposal. I don't know. Maybe
I'm Ron Burgundy.
I'm Ron Burgundy. So Amy made her first apple crisp of the year, which was absolutely fucking delicious. I love nothing more than that apple crisp, especially when it makes the whole house smell like fucking apples and cinnamon and all that shit. If I could turn that into a fucking candle, I would be a multi-millionaire.
They quite literally have a billion candles with that smell.
With that, yeah, this is a very particular. It's a very particular set of smells.
Okay, so at the end of the day, it's still going to be a candle.
Yeah.
And
they don't have an apple crisp candle.
They absolutely do.
No way.
They fucking absolutely for sure do.
Yankee Candle?
I don't know. I don't buy candles.
I don't fuck with anything that's not Yankee Candle.
I bet then I'll look it up.
They have Macintosh. I mean, that's their big one. It just smells like apples. There's a difference. There's a difference between a candle that smells like apples and a candle that smells like apple fucking crisp.
Pier 1 has an apple crisp candle.
I bet it sucks. Pier 1 sucks. Either way, whatever. I digress. This smells fucking amazing. It's also delicious. So I pose a question to you. Is apple crisp superior to apple pie? What is the superior apple dessert? Because I have a very strong opinion on this.
So you're not going to get the answer you want from me, because I know for sure that the answer is actually a piece of both. And it's one of those like apple crisp tart things. So I think we've been over the pie tart thing where tarts are open top.
Yes.
So effectively what this is, it's a pie crust with apple crisp thrown in it.
Okay.
And then you bake that and you call it, I don't know.
An apple tart.
Apple crisp tart.
Apple crisp
I don't know.
tart.
I've seen it though. It's basically like
it's apple crisp in a pie crust.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it mixes the two.
Yeah.
So that's the correct answer. So now back to your question. Because, all right. So really the difference is you have pie crust on both sides of the pie. You have no pie crust in apple crisp. In apple crisp, you have the crunchy top that you don't get with apple pie. So it's really, because I'd say other than that, all the flavors are the same. So, and assuming this is a good apple pie, not a shitty one.
Right.
So other than that, it effectively is the same thing. So it's like, do you like pie crust or do you like the crispy top? And I can fuck with both. I really can. I don't pick favorites. I don't feel strongly one versus the other. So sometimes I'll be in the mood for, and like, this is the thing. It's like, if it's going to be an apple pie, I want them to do something to that top of the pie, like that top crust, like, because if you can get one of those that they do, where I've seen a couple now. So one is like a solid top, like real regular traditional pie. And then they add like brown sugar and it's all baked on and it's like the crispy stuff. So it's like cheating. Or like the lattice top to the apple pie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Where that's like cheating too. But if we're comparing a standard apple pie dry top to apple crisp, then I'm taking the apple crisp.
Agreed. 100%. I'm apple crisp all the way. I think apple pie is the most overrated fucking pie. It's lame.
With the caveat,
whatever.
With the caveat. I'm just not going to use that word. With the stipulation that they don't enhance the top of the pie. If it's
correct,
if they go with like an apple crisp tart type thing, you're working with something. And if they enhance the top of the pie, that's almost like PEDs.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking cheating. Because if I said
you're just pouring brown sugar on top of something that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, so if I say that the conversation really comes down to, do you like pie crust with apple filling or do you like apple filling topped with crunchy stuff? Well, if they mix the crunchy stuff onto the pie, it's like,
yeah,
that's something there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just like a regular dry topped apple pie, I am beyond good with.
I think we talked about this before too. I think pies in general are overrated. I don't like pies. Like, I like pie. Like, I'll eat pie. But in the grand scheme of like a pie, a tart, a cheesecake, pies are the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, depending. Yeah, it depends though, because like I don't want fruit. I don't want like pure fruit tarts, like where they're like posing as being like what they got like fucking kiwis and shit on them. Like I don't want that.
Yeah, no, that's weird.
Like fuck that.
But like that Brandy Alexander pie that I made before, that technically is a tart, like that shit's good as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it go. Yeah, I think in the rankings it probably go like. So say you were gonna do an apple something. So if you take like apple pie filling, maybe apple's not the blueberry. Let's go. No, I don't want blueberry because a blueberry tart. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, strawberries.
No, I don't know what I'm looking for now. I don't eat many tarts, but I feel
Well,
like
a
they're better
tart
for some reason.
technically is just anything that doesn't have the pie top on it.
Yeah, I know, but you wouldn't like like blueberry pie filling. You wouldn't just throw that in a tart.
Yeah,
Like it's got to be a solid.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean cheesecake's better. That's really what I'm getting at.
Well, cheesecake technically is a tart. Cheesecake is the superior of all dessert pie type things. Like
Yeah.
whether it's cake, pie, tart, doesn't fucking matter. Cheesecake is the best of them all.
So
Like,
how about
there's
let's do
nothing.
this then. A really good cake or a really good pie?
Ooh,
And I don't care about crappy versions of either one. Because if it's crappy versions of either one, just give me more of whatever we were eating before that.
yeah.
Like a really good pie, like whatever your like whatever pie that you would say, like, you know what, actually, yeah, this I can fuck with this. And whatever like cake.
I think I would take pie
I
over
think
the
I would
cake.
too. I really don't like cake.
I don't like cake at all.
And then
I think cake sucks.
Any cake that actually impresses me ravages my stomach for like a week.
Yeah,
Because
it's all
so
fucking sugar.
It's so thick and heavy and all
Yeah.
this fucking frosting and this fillings and ganache and whatever the fuck else.
Yeah, especially like when it's layered, where it's like a cake, then
Which is
frosting, then
the
cake,
only
then
way.
frosting, and then there's outside frosting.
Yeah, and that's
and
the
it's like,
only
holy
way.
shit, dude! Like, I think I have diabetes.
Yeah, because
I just got the beatus from a slice of cake.
If it's standard cake, no thank you.
Yeah,
no
you
thank you.
Always feel like shit after, right?
Need not apply.
Like it doesn't matter. It could be a cake from fucking Buddy's Cake Boss, whatever the fuck. What's that? I forget the guy's last name, but you know, Buddy from New Jersey, the cake boss. He could make an absolutely fucking perfect, beautiful cake, and I could eat a slice, and 25 minutes later, I'm gonna feel like shit.
Yeah,
like it doesn't matter because that's what cake does.
Yeah, because I think like if it came to like good pie or good cake, I'm like, why the fuck would I want the cake?
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah, I mean, good
pie is the worst of the pie types, but it's still better than cake.
Yeah, no, I'm good on cake.
Yeah,
and it's amazing because every time I see my family, which is 3 times a year, it's 4, and I don't live that far from them. It's like a fucking 35-minute drive. But all 3 times I see them a year, it's either Christmas, Thanksgiving, or like my grandmother's birthday. Oh, I guess I see them 4 times because Easter. So it's one of those 4 days. And they all like for 32 years, they've brought a cake out. So 32 times 4, 128.
Did you memorize that?
No. I doubled 32 to 64 and doubled that.
Yeah. That's new math.
That's how I break up a gallon too. So 128 times of having cake offered to me. I've had it, I don't know, 10. Maybe
10 out of 128. That's
less than
you know,
10%.
yeah. It's good odds.
I am good with cake.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like cake.
Yeah, I don't hate pie the way you hate pie, but
I mean, I don't hate pie. I just think it's overrated. I think there are better things to eat than pie,
well, if it's a meat,
like cheesecake.
yeah, because I was gonna say, so like, I think a mediocre cheesecake is still fine,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
a mediocre pie does leave something to be desired.
That is very true. Yeah. Yeah. You eat the pie and like the crust is like doughy. You're like, this is very not good. But like you eat a cheesecake, like even if it's like a little dry, like it's still fucking cheesecake. Like it's
Yeah, because
still
it's
really good.
that top layer of pie dough is the make or break.
Yeah.
If it sucks, you don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
But like, how does the top layer of cheesecake suck? It fucking literally can't.
It doesn't. Yeah. You can do more. Cheesecake is more versatile too. Like you can throw in like different flavors, right? Like you can do like a chocolate, a peanut butter, you can do like a weird flavors. You can't do a fucking peanut butter pie. Like what the fuck? You're just going to take pie crust and fill it with peanut butter? That's fucking disgusting.
No,
Like, a dog wouldn't even eat that.
I beg to differ. Every time I pull the jar out of the fridge, someone's fucking sitting by my hip.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's not a cake anymore. Because I was gonna say like, oh, but you could do like a peanut butter or something or other, because then it's not a pie anymore. Because then it's a tart.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Hate to see it, really.
Yeah. Pies are very limited in their scope. Tarts are more versatile. Well, cheesecake is a tart, so
That's
tarts
why.
tarts are superior. So in the ranking system, I would go tart, pie, cake.
Yeah.
As far as like round, large.
Yeah, like large scale desserts.
Because if you start throwing like cookies and like
cannolis,
cannolis and chocolate covered strawberries, like all right, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like because then there's like literally a billion different kinds of cookies.
Yeah.
So the large scale desserts, it goes tart, pie, cheesecake. I'm sorry, tart pie. I can't stop thinking about cheesecake. Tart, pie, cake.
I haven't had cheesecake in a long time.
Yeah. It's so fucking good.
I know, but for me, it's a special occasion. I have to plan accordingly.
Yeah, you gotta block out the following.
I just can
20
eat
minutes.
no other dairy during the day.
Yeah,
and then I can have a little bit of cheesecake.
That's so good. All right, well, that's it for us. So thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that shit. Same thing if you're an audio only listener. 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes, if you will, please, and thank you. You can, like I said at the beginning of the show, you can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod, on Twitter at Sarcasm_speaks, Facebook page Sarcasm Speaks, the website is sarcasmspeaks.com. Thank you to mybookie.com. Use the promo code Sarcasm Pod when you sign up to double your first deposit up to $1,000. Also, thank you to grillyourassoff.com. I used them tonight when I made dinner, like I do on most nights. Use the promo code Sarcasm Pod to save 10% off your order every single time you check out over there at grillyourassoff.com. Yeah, sign up for the Sarcasm Speaks NFL Pick'em Pool. Again, like I said at the top of the show, $6 a week or $108 for the whole year. $5 per week goes to the weekly winner. $1 of that $6 goes towards the season-long winner. So it's winner take all at the end of the season. Potential to win, $360 or more. So if you want in, you let us know. It would be $360 if we average the same amount of people we did last year.
If we get 20 people a week.
So if we get more people this year, it's just bigger and bigger. So again, if you're in, great. Let everyone else know too that they want in too. So let's make this thing as big as we can. Let's have some legit payouts here. You pay $6 a week. You're saying you could win $100 and then you win, you know, $400 or $500 at the end of the year. I mean, it's pretty fucking solid if you ask me. So like I said, spread the word, tell everybody about the pick and pool, let them know, let them get in, and we'll get them the details. So until next time.